Hello viewers, today we will learn about the significance of themed travel in elementary EVS curriculum and the suggestive pedagogical approaches to transact the theme. The themed travel is essentially linked to the idea of movement, which is the essence of life. Travel does not only mean the idea of going from one place to another and physical displacement of living beings and objects. Information and ideas also travel. Through the theme travel, we have to bring forth the idea of movement in a very comprehensive manner. A teacher can make students ponder over the idea of movement at different level from easy to complex spread across primary EVS curriculum. For example, movement by people starting from children's own experiences of travelling, how older members in their family may have travelled in earlier times, movement of family members and neighbours due to various reasons, how people travel in desert, through forest, in the hills or in big cities. We can relate the idea of human movement to the invention of wheel and make students reflect on these points. Firstly, wheel is one of the earliest inventions. Secondly, invention revolutionized the ways of our moving around the world. Thirdly, invention gave a faster pace to the development of human civilization. Fourthly, from bullock cart to aeroplanes, wheel is used everywhere. The theme should be discussed comprehensively with the help of a mind map of the theme of travel. This is an exemplar mind map. You can develop your own mind map, keeping in view the way you want to pedagogically organize the learning experience. In this mind map, I have linked the theme travel to need, issues, environment, experience, communication and mapping. Each of these have been further detailed out in order to deal with the theme in a very comprehensive manner, touching minutest details related to travel. While dealing with travel as a need, you should first highlight the common needs because of which animals and humans both travel. Food, shelter, water, reproduction are some of the common needs because of which humans and animals change their place. One can also bring forth the idea of how different species move. Earthworms slide, tortoise crawl, sheep run, kangaroos hop and humans walk. Humans also travel for recreation, adventure, livelihood and curiosity, to gain knowledge. Animals move to protect their younger ones, to find suitable place to escape an attacking prey and to protect themselves from harsh climate. There are some very important issues linked to travel. For example, development and travel are interlinked. People need to migrate in search of work to industrial areas. Industrial development at one hand is positive for growth, but it also leads to migration, displacement and thus clash for survival. Fuel conservation, pollution, safety are also related issues linked to the theme. Travel and environment are also closely interlinked. To travel distances where fuel run vehicles are not required, one should avoid using fuel run vehicles. If one travels to see the places of tourist interest, one should not pollute those spots by making them dirty. As a society also, we should make environment of our country conducive for people from other lands who visit our country as tourists. To elaborate the theme travel as experience, we must utilize experiences of people who travelled as pedagogical resources. The travel could be an expression of past experience or current experiences. Students' own experiences and experiences of other travellers could become useful resources. Travelogue of Al-Biruni is one such example. His experiences open up windows to learn India as it was more than 1,000 years ago. The resultant experience emerging out of geographical location, climate, language, socio-cultural practices form the body of knowledge with regard to travel as experience. Experiences of individuals who moved away from their family are also worth discussing to foster empathy. Travel is also linked to communication and transportation. When we deal with communication, communication of idea is one of the major domains to be explored. Means of transport is another major domain to be built, to build learning experiences on travel. Let us now discuss some pedagogical strategies for elaborating this theme. While dealing with the sub-theme travel as a need, in class 4th and 5th, teacher can bring forth the idea of migratory birds. She may choose one example to quote and lead the learners to take up a project on migratory birds. We can take up example of blue throat, which is also known as the lucky Neelkant in Hindi. This little bird travels to India and Maldives for its winter sabbatical from UK and Alaska. A sparrow look-alike, blue throat is famous for answering the calls of other birds, literally, with her throat shining electric blue on the outside and melodious as honey inside. This palm-sized bird, some 13-14 centimeter, can be found in western parts of India like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, northwestern Himalayas. You can form several groups of students to work on the project on migratory birds. The planning may be done in a way that the small projects may culminate into a big project. Giving way to ICT integration, students may be encouraged to take help of ICT teacher. One group may be asked to collect pictures of migratory birds in India in a folder. Other group may be asked to list birds as per the season in which they migrate, geographical location of their native places and the places to which they migrate. Creation of a map to show locations. A teacher can also think of other associated activities to be assigned. Students should be involved in planning and a mind map of the project should be created with the help of students. All the activities should be culminated into one single project and the groups may be asked to display their work as a single project and make presentation as to how they went about completing the work assigned to them. At the end of the project, learning outcomes of the project may be listed by the teacher and students in a collective manner. Issues like environment, experience and mapping will surely emerge as prominent learning outcomes. We can also make students realize that travel is not limited to traveling across the globe. Making spaceship have also made possible to move out of the world into the universe. To elaborate this, you can start the lesson with playing a video program available on NROER, which is entitled as A Day with Astronaut Sunita Williams. Sunita Williams is an Indian American astronaut who visited India to share her experiences of Expedition 33 as a commander. The spacewoman spent over 192 days on this expedition. This video shows Captain Sunita Williams sharing her experiences of space tour. Let's have a look on a small clip of this program.
A friend of mine calls it the black hole because you can go there and you can just want to stay there forever looking at the beautiful planet that we live on. Just a couple things like Caribbean, you saw a hurricane, you see the western part of the US, for example, here, Baja California. And then you say to yourself, okay, I'll be done as soon as the sun goes down. But then you realize how cool the planet is at night, checking out the different lights and then checking out the stars, and you end up being there forever and not working. So it's a little bit dangerous. That's why we call it the black hole. And with that, time goes so fast. 4 months were over in a heartbeat, and it was time for us to come home. We handed over the space station to Kevin, Oleg, and Yevgeny, and we got back into our Soyuz. You could see from when we came in, and now we're going back out. It takes only about 4 hours after undocking. This is our display as we're undocking. That's our spacecraft flying away from the space station before we hit the ground. After we hit the ground, you could probably see that the vehicle there's a little bit charred up. The folks pull us out. It was like minus 13 degrees. We were still nice and toasty in our spacesuits, though. We're able to walk, but they're a little bit worried about neurovestibular effects at that point in time, and so they give you a little bit of a hand. But after they pull us out, we get out of our spacesuits. We actually get into an ATV, ride over to our helicopter, get in our helicopter for about a 2-hour ride to a local airport, and then get in an airplane and go all the way home. So about 24 hours after landing, Aki and I were back in the United States, and Yuri was back in Moscow to start our rehab recovery actions for about 45 days. And then we're back to normal, I think. As far as I can tell, I think we're all back to normal.
The full program could be watched from the resources attached to this module on travel. After watching the full video, you can prepare a plan as to how you would use this program to engage students in further learning. Here you have an opportunity to link the program to the idea of travel for the purpose of searching new knowledge, what exists beyond Earth. Audio-video program as learning resources may lead your class to a kind of experiential learning. Listening to and watching programs are good strategies for stimulating students' thinking, triggering their imagination and memories of the past. Listening to these programs may lead to a learning of different means of transport. Class 3 students may take up a project on means of transport and learn to classify, arrange them on the basis of where and how they run. On the basis of number of wheels they have, material they are made of, mechanized and non-mechanized, purpose they serve. For example, some means we use to travel short distances, some we use to travel long distances, some for agriculture and road construction. Another classification could be on the basis of type of fuel used and fuel not used at all, because cycle, tricycle, bullocks, horses are moved by the efforts of human or animals. Means of transport can also be arranged on the basis of time they take to travel particular distances. Audio program Vayu Pradushan can be played in the class to discuss the issue of air pollution in relation to travel.
This is our Assembly Pro, from where we take the samples from the environment and sucks through this pump.
But sir, the air outside, it will contain some moisture, so doesn't it dilute the amount of pollutants in the atmosphere?
We are not allowed this moisture to enter this analyzer. We have a moisture trap.
Only the particles, suspended particles?
No, only gas particles is entered.
So you know that we are sucking the ambient air, and these are the analyzers, and these are analyzing all the gas that we are sucking it. The sample is coming into the van, and it is distributed to all the analyzers, which are monitoring nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide and ozone. So if you see on the monitor now, this value is well within the limit, and this NOx is the main pollutant from diesel driven vehicles. You see ozone is 0.013 ppm at present, and this ozone is the ground level ozone, not the top level ozone, which is beneficial to us because it absorbs ultraviolet light.
Vayu Pradushan and Nani Ka Gaon programs can be used to have a discussion in the class on different types of fuels. Fuel conservation, conservation of energy by using solar energy. You can also ask students to create digital stories on their own experiences of travel using drawings and photographs. If any of their family members have smartphone, digital stories can be created using a smartphone. Here, through another program, you can bring forth the idea as to how a time's travel separates us from our loved ones. To generate learning out of this experience, you can pair students and ask them to share similar experiences when they had to part with their family. The reason could be search of livelihood, further studies, getting married, etc. Then ask child in a pair to narrate other child's experience. Such pedagogy will help developing empathy and compassion among children. Around the world, this program is based on the story of a traveler who travels around the world in 80 days. Make students listen to the program 2-3 times. Ask them to note down the places mentioned in the program when they listen it the second time. Discuss the experience he went through during his journey. Ask if any of the students have any remarkable experience during their travel. Ask them to draw route of the traveler's journey on a world map. Also ask them to mark symbols on map as per the mode of transport he traveled through. कॉफ़ी की खोज, यह कार्यक्रम कॉफ़ी के पौधों की खोज के बारे में जानकारी देता है. This program narrates a child experiences of traveling Ooty via Coimbatore with his uncle. He travels via different modes of transport, takes prepaid taxi, hires guide to see places of interest in Ooty. While seeing the tea garden, he comes to know the story of discovery of coffee. You can build a learning experience around this narration by discussing its linkage with climate, vegetation, travelling of ideas of drinking coffee, which was discovered by a shepherd in Ethiopia. Make students ponder more over as to how ideas travel, how plants also travel with travellers and also through birds and insects. Here is another example of idea that travel. Also ask your students to search shepherd communities that exist in different geographical locations of India. How long they travel in a day? Do they shift their dwells seasonally? Ask students to draw the route of Ravi's journey from Delhi to Ooty. Also ask them to draw route of their own travel, local or remote. Also discuss that different building architectures in India is a result of travelling of ideas. Indigenous building architecture have an influence of Persian, European and British architecture. Movement sometimes is a challenge for children with special needs. Let's watch this video. गिरोगे नहीं तो बढ़ोगे कैसे?
देखना, बोलना, सुनना और चलना सामान्य व्यक्ति को इतने मामूली लगते हैं कि उसके सीखने के संघर्ष की प्रक्रिया वह भूल ही जाते हैं। इसलिए शायद ऊपरी तौर पर देखने में ये कहानी भले ही मामूली लगे, लेकिन ज़रा सोचिए, इन सामान्य से दिखने वाले कामों में अगर किसी की जिंदगी की चुनौतियाँ और उपलब्धियाँ शामिल हों। यह कहानी एक ऐसी ही लड़की की लिखी कहानी है जिसका नाम है कविता। कविता सेरेब्रल पॉलिसी से जूझते हुए अपनी जिंदगी को पूरे उत्साह के साथ जीती है। वह जीवन के इन छोटे छोटे संघर्षों का महत्व जानती है। कविता ने इस कहानी को अपने अन्य साथियों के साथ चित्रों और रंगों से साकार किया। कविता की कहानी का नायक एक ऐसा लड़का है जो चलने में परेशानी महसूस करता है, जो अक्सर चलते हुए गिरता है। एक दिन वह इसे चुनौती की तरह लेता है और तय करता है कि वह आज नहीं गिरेगा। क्या उसे इस चुनौती में सफलता मिलती है? आइए जानने के लिए देखें यह कहानी।
गिरोगे नहीं तो बढ़ोगे कैसे? एक लड़का था, उसका नाम आरुष था। वह हमेशा गिरता रहता था। एक दिन ऐसा हुआ कि सभी गांव वाले हैरान रह गए। वह अपनी माँ के साथ बाजार गया। उसने पहले ही ठान लिया था कि वह आज एक बार भी नहीं गिरेगा। चलते चलते उसके सामने एक छोटा सा पत्थर आ गया। उसने पत्थर के ऊपर से छलांग मारी और वह नहीं गिरा। ऐसा कई बार हुआ। उसकी माँ उसे गोद में उठा रही थी। आरुष ने कहा, माँ तुम मुझे नहीं संभाल पाओगी, इसलिए मुझे गोद से उतार दो। जब आरुष अपनी माँ की गोद से उतर रहा था, तब नीचे एक सड़ा हुआ टमाटर पड़ा हुआ था। उसने अपनी माँ को अच्छे से पकड़ लिया। टमाटर पर उसका पैर पड़ा, लेकिन वह नहीं गिरा। लौटते समय वह बहुत सावधानी से चल रहा था कि कहीं वह गिर ना जाए। उसके सामने एक बड़ा सा पत्थर आया। उसने पत्थर भी पार कर लिया। वह आज एक बार भी नहीं गिरा। आज आरुष बहुत खुश था।
Based on the experiences of a child for whom walking without fall was a great challenge, such program may be used to make children aware of the challenges some of their peers may be facing in their day-to-day movement. The theme travel could also be linked to the idea of road and railway safety, signs and symbols on the road. You may ask students to make a list of signs on a chart paper that they have seen while traveling to school or at any other time. What they mean and how they ensure communication of important information and safety. Children are introduced to money through mathematics, but including money in EVS gives opportunity to understand money also as a medium of exchange. Its importance and significance in today's world. The recent demonetization in India provides a context to talk about money, past, present and future. Make students think, discuss and answer the following. If there is no money exchange, how do people travel? How do people buy food? How do people get their wages? What did people do when they did not have money? What is barter system? How government decision impacts common life? Would currency be replaced by cards or digital money? So, teachers, now we understand that travel is a need, but it also helps us understand the world around us. Travel is an activity that everyone and everything does in some form or the other. Remember, we humans travel, and so do animals, plants, material and ideas. Nothing is static. Hence, travel has to be understood by us in its broadest possible sense, so that we can plan our class according to the age and context of the children. There is no dearth of resources for a teacher who takes initiative to plan her class according to age and context of children. Thank you.